We're talking about Taurus season and how it's going to affect what you're trying to manifest, and answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table with this too.
My God, you're crazy, girl.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And it's, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday night, everybody. What's going on? Yes, we are in the mid aspect of Taurus season, I would say. We've started in April 19th, going into May 19th, May 20th, around there. So how y'all feeling? Since last week, what's going on? Let's see who's in the chat here. Jennifer Cruz, welcome. David Cruz, welcome. Who are they? My makers? Duh. Okay. Wonderful wonderful mod Nina is in the room. Welcome her. She'll be directing you and questions that you may have about booking, about setting a reading up today in the live, all great stuff. How to ask a question. She'll be taking care of you. Ali Taylor, welcome. Good to see you. Rashida, welcome. Blondie7, good to see you. Jerry, hello. Sydney, my love, good to see you. Erica Edwin, welcome. Excited for you to be here as well. Deanna, good to see you. It's been 3 weeks. Wow. Well, welcome back, my love. Lisa Cruz, good to see you. My sister, sister from the same mister, actually. PC Monkey the Third, welcome. Stephanie Whitaker, good to see you. Chelsea Yvonne, always great to see you as well. Emberg, DIC Hadiana. I hope I said that right. I butcher names, so don't hold me to getting your name correctly. I'm going to butcher it a lot of times. And CC, good to see you. And everybody else who's watching, I can't see you. I can only see who's chatting. Welcome aboard. And Chrissy Rizzi, welcome as well. What's going on? Let's get into the collective read. Let's jump on in. Oh, and for those of you who are new, here are the reading prices. If you want to get a reading done live tonight, it's $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, and $40 for a live video with moi. I love to see your beautiful faces. Sometimes just getting all those texts can be overwhelming and impersonal. So if you want to get live, person to person, you can book a live video session today. And also, too, you can book a private session with me. The links are in the bio. The Venmo and PayPal links are also in the description below. Not the bio, but the description below. So Anita will help you, guide you into how to get a question in. As well as if you don't want to be doing the live aspect with privacy, again, scottcruzpm.com website is in the link. If you want to book a personal session, that is there as well. Let's get into the collective read, shall we? Before we get into our topic about Taurus season, and I'm sure the collective read will be right on par with the topic as it always is. So let's see what's happening. What's happening over here? Okay, let's get this going here. Let's shuffle the oracle cards first. And let's see. Kath, welcome. Thanks, Rashida. Yeah, I've been doing new backgrounds for every theme, actually. I was having the same background for a while. I was getting kind of bored, so I've been changing the background for every theme to put us in that essence, in that vein. And we'll shuffle the oracle cards, and then we'll get into the main cards. All right, and let's shuffle the main cards too, and see what the tarot's got to say. And again, those of you who don't know, I'm not a tarot reader, but I use tarot for the collective read purposes. So that's what I do. Of course, I don't need the cards. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a channel. But for these situations with the collective, it's great to use the cards as kind of a guide point of where to go. And also picking up other energies of you guys in the room that needs to be talked about. And yes, how would you guys like Leading Out Loud, our new show on Mondays? We love to hear feedback too, because we're trying to we want to give you guys what you want. And so a lot of us are trying to think outside the box on the show. And so we're going to be refining it more and more to see what works, and give you guys what you want more on the spiritual levels, but as well as the physical levels too. So feel free to chime in and give your comments on LOL, Leading Out Loud. And those who don't know, just check out Leading Out Loud. Our show is on here on YouTube. And we stream it on all of our channels, so it'll be streamed here as well every Monday. So don't forget to tap into that. Okay. And I did the lovely theme song for that as well. Okay, let's see here. All right. So as we know, as we were phasing out of Aries season, there was a lot of push, a lot of impulse energy. And last week, the topic, I was kind of saying, are you pushing too much or are you not pushing enough? And so, there was a fine tuning of that balance of push. And a lot of guys would feel that impulse, whether they should push more or push less. And so we need to find that balance. As we've entered into Taurus season in the month of May, primarily, it will be a very good month of movement. And within that movement, of course, you'll see a lot of the things that you've been planting seeds on manifesting. And so I would say it's not going to be so much about new manifestation as it is about the seeds that you've planted now coming to realization. So during this time, it is more so about, especially with that Taurus energy and the earthy energy of the Taurus energy, about really setting your foundations now, getting ready for these manifestations to come into effect. And that means preparing your mental intellect, your spiritual intellect, your overall intellect, as far as, are you allowing the right space for things to come in? Have you cleaned house, figuratively speaking? Some of you guys need to clean your own physical houses because there's a lot going on in the physical houses and learning how to nest. And so I think that's another thing that's going to be very important in the month of May, is to get your house in order, both figuratively and literally, and kind of like cleansing and from all the bloat that has been in your lives and allowing that push that we've gotten from the Aries season to kind of give us the foundation of what we need in this month of May, primarily, to then allow us to push ourselves forward. Because in order for things to come in our lives, we got to have the space for it and also have the mental agility to handle it. But if you're over encumbered with so much crap from the past, then you're not going to have the mental agility to handle what comes in for you now, what comes, all the new excitement and the new resources and relationships and all the things that you've been asking for. If you're not ready for them mentally, then it's not going to come in, or you'll miss the opportunity. You will miss the boat. So please understand that the push that you're going to be feeling in the month of May is not so much a push like it was in, let's say, the month of April. It's more of a flow. It's more the essence of your soul that you'll be feeling that's guiding you into the right paradigm, that next paradigm. And I would say the paradigm of movement and motion and action, because there was a lot of, I would say, realizations that had to be made emotionally, and clearing out a lot of traumas the past 3 to 4 months, and recalibrating and redefining. All that internal work has been needed and been done the past 3 to 4 months in order for the time of May that we're coming into, for that movement to start flooding on in. But if you guys have been playing your cards right, in a sense, and you've been redefining, you've been clearing out the house, literally and figuratively, then everything that comes in will come in with ease. But if you have not been doing that work, but you've still been kind of moving forward, these things will be forced out of your life. The rug will feel like it's being pulled beneath you. So just as much as the movement's going to push you in a positive sense, if you are out of that alignment of being allowing and clear, well, you'll be forced into that state for it to be cleared. So if you guys have been like really hesitating on getting rid of a relationship that it's toxic, they'll be forced out of your life. They'd definitely be forced. Something would happen to push it out of your life, or to give the realization to push it out. If you've been hesitating on leaving that job that's been toxic for you, you probably get laid off. you'll probably be pushed out of there, or another opportunity will unfold. So there's going to be a yin and a yang to how these things unfold, in the sense of the positive yin would be like, oh, you get a new opportunity, boom, you elevate because you've been doing the work. If you haven't been, then a layoff might happen. Maybe a paid leave or something of that nature. But something that's going to push you out of what you've been saying you have a disdain for. And finally, the universe will kind of help and assist on this if you haven't been taking the steps that you needed to get yourself in the board, in rhythm of being on board for what you want. So now is the time to set the foundations, clean house. Let the movement pick up, because I always say too that a lot of times we say, oh, we want all these things, but we're like hoarders. We have all this other crap in our lives that are saturating our intellect, that are saturating our perspective, that are saturating our emotional awareness, and so we can't add more because we wouldn't be able to handle that. And so a lot of times people are saying, why isn't anything happening? Why isn't anything manifesting? I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm affirming. And it's like, but you have all this crap behind you that you're not even letting in. The door's closed because you have all this crap around. Okay, clear out that crap. And so, in order to receive, you got to let go. And so that means letting go of the things that that are contrary to what your overall mission is. And so this Taurus season that we've been in, and kind of, I would say it's going to be amplified in the next week or so, and as we kind of divulge in the month of May, you got to get ready for that. And you better, if you haven't set that foundation, I would start setting it now. And that means, like I said before, you're clearing house both figuratively and literally speaking. And so, of course, you have to understand this is part of your path. Whether you've been, I would say, very adamant about clearing that path, you're on that path now. So if, like I said previously, if you haven't got rid of the things in your life that need to be getting rid of, they're going to be forced out of your life. And that could be very, I would say, painful if it's out of your control, but in a sense, it's out of your physical control, but it's not out of your spiritual control. And so your soul is going to do what's best for you and what you need to be doing, what needs to be done for you. I also feel too, a lot of secrets and a lot of hidden things will also be revealed in this month of May. So anything that you've been looking for, any type of information or any type of guidance you've been looking for, or clarity or truth that you've been fighting to find out, it's going to come out this month. I would say just in Taurus season alone. But you have to, in a sense, fight for that. And I don't want to say fight in a sense, it sounds negative, because so many, the law of attraction communities, you shouldn't fight, and all that stuff. We're talking about you got to take a stand, and you got to push the positive force out of what you're wanting in order for it to actually come across, and for it to manifest, and for you to actually meet in the middle of that type of manifestation process. You have to bring the energy forth as well, not just the universe giving to you all the time. You are the universe. You are the universe. You're creating this. You're arranging it. So sitting back and waiting for the universe to take care of things for you is so passive. It doesn't make any sense if that's just a mechanism. The universe is responding to you. The universe is calibrating based on your word and action. So by sitting back saying, oh, the universe will deliver, you're not going to get anywhere. So you got to take a stand right now. Set the foundation, set the boundaries, and allow these things to come through with ease, so you're more perceptive and you have more of a keen understanding about the things that are for you and things that are not for you, that you're being very masterful in that sense. You've mastered the art of understanding the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, and the powered and disempowered, and you can easily sift and sort between the two without reservation, without hesitation. Okay, so what's more, like I was saying before, a lot of the unknown will become known this month too, which could create some chaos. If you've been resisting things, it will create some chaos for you. But again, it's movement. You can have movement of chaos and movement of order. You choose. And so if you guys are continue to be fragmented, expect more fragmentation to amplify. If you guys have been very much in order, expect more of that order to come in, more peace and harmony to come forth in your life at this time. So it's very important to understand this. And patience is required, during this time as well, because, the manifestation process, when things become tangibly manifest, it does require patience even through that process too, because there's a series of events that need to happen with the manifestation. Things don't just always come up at once. Sometimes it can, but a lot of times they don't. A lot of times there's a streamline of events that you have to be clear and perceptive on in order for you to understand, oh, this is manifesting. I can see how this path is unfolding for me. But that requires your patience. That also requires, your nurturing, because I don't like to say patience in a sense of where people tend to think patience means waiting. Patience means nurturing. You're taking the time to nurture. You're taking the time to actually, let the process be what it needs to be without you putting your hands on it all the time. Okay, so please understand that is important for this month of May, that you're allowing that process to be as things start filling in the gaps in your life. And if you've been trying to fill in those gaps, like I said once more, and you still have things cluttering your space, it's going to be forced out. So I would say take the time, take the energy, take the perspective in life of understanding now it's time for things to go that need to go. Okay, and because right now, like if you could imagine the energetic scope and sphere that we're in right now, we're in between the past and the future, and right now you're going to be feeling like this for a while, and then you're going to feel the pull of the future start pulling you this way, and if you're not letting go, you're going to be like ripped apart in a sense, figuratively speaking. And forced, and a lot of you guys are kicking and screaming. A lot of you guys want to manifest. I'm manifesting, but you don't want to do the work of letting go. So therefore, that keeps you in that kind of, I would say, middle ground, that tug of war energy, because you don't want to do the work to let go of the things that is going to allow you to manifest what you're wanting. You're just talking about the manifestation. So a lot of that I was saying before about the secrets being revealed, the unknown, that's a very much subconscious energy too. The subconscious is bringing to light the things that need to bring to light. But I feel like we've been doing that the past 3 or 4 months of healing the trauma, the past traumas. That's really, you guys have already been doing a lot of that. But it's the conditional changes is what I'm speaking of right now. It's a conditional, alterations that we need to start making right now as new things manifest and come into our experiences, especially this month, because it can be a very fun, exciting period this month, a very fruitful month for a lot of you guys. Okay, so don't be dead weight during this time, because you'll be tossed around doing this during this current. And again, the Taurus energy is like a bull in a china shop energy, and so you can go for the ride and enjoy the ride at what it has to offer and allow things to accelerate, or you can be knocked around during this time too. So that's how it can affect your manifestation processes. Yes, Lisa, I did talk about this 2 months ago. I've been trying to prepare you guys for this period. Again, as a psychic, it isn't me. I'm just reading your future and giving you future, predictions. It's about understanding where the current is going, so I can help prepare you guys for what's ahead. So you're ready for that. So you're ready for what's going to happen and to occur, as the time progresses. So understand, I've been trying to prepare you guys this time, so you don't feel like you're on Mr. Toad's ride, spinning around like fucking crazy. That you're in control of this ride. Okay, so thank you for acknowledging that, Lisa. That is true. I've been preparing you guys for this for months now. But again, if you've been taking care of stuff and some things are in the verge, don't worry. Okay, don't worry. If things are on the verge, you're on the verge of getting rid of things, don't worry about it completely being pushed aside. If you're in the process of letting go of things and there's some conditional aspects you have to, that's okay. Allow that process to take flight. Allow that process to be. Okay, that means you're still on board of that. Universe will guide it quicker for you. You'll feel more of that acceleration. So if you're doing the work still and you have to settle certain things, that's okay. That means you've already been doing the work, and the soul knows, spirit knows that there's a process to certain things as well. So we're saying if you're already in that process, you'll see acceleration of that too during this time. Okay. But again, it's always in our favor. And we have to elevate and evolve no matter what. And if we're if we're letting our brains to get in the way of that, well, our soul will push us to accelerate. And the brain, if it's out of sync to the soul, it would be like a scary ride. It'd be like, what's going on? That's why my title is Aligning the Mind with the Soul, because we have to have the two in sync so we understand the scope of the physical and the spiritual and how it's guiding us and how we're actually creating life in that format and how that comes together. So yes, and I want you guys to be excited during this time, because if you put your heads together, your minds together, your souls together, and you collaborate all the 3 aspects of ourselves, how we're multidimensional, and you're saying, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to part from the relationships that have been weighing me down. I'm ready to part from the situations that have been weighing me down. I'm tired of being in the middle, at a fork in the road all the time. I'm tired of playing the tug of war, and you're in that phase. This period will help you to kind of push you out and release the other end that's been pulling you back. All right, so there's a lot of great energy behind it. It's a powerful energy, but a lot of times people are forgetting to realize that the energies has a duality. That this energy can also be, again, very positive, very negative. We have to understand the power of these energies. It's not just sitting back and being positive all the time with our minds. Oh no, I'm avoiding negativity. We have to be very clear about the negativity and understand the results of such, so we can be masters at maneuvering through reality despite the energetic climate that is unfolding with the collective. Okay, so I also feel like this month too be great financially for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people who've been diving into, you know, certain projects or ideas. I feel like they're going to be manifesting, and also like a lot of great financial rewards will be kind of stemming with the month of May. So that'll be very fruitful for a lot of people who've been doing work. Not all of you guys. Some of you guys will still feel a little bit of a strain, because if you've been strained, like I said before, if you've been strained, you're going to continue being strained. If you've been strained, you've been pushing through and creating more ideas and creating more options for you, then yes, it'll be very fruitful for you. So again, this is a wonderful time of manifestation, but please understand this manifestation period is a mirror of what you've been doing. Okay, both on the positive and negative aspects. Take advantage of this. And if you haven't caught up on that, catch up on it. And even if you start becoming willing now to change and to let go of a lot of things in the past, that current will take you to evolve you with that as well. Okay? So you're never too late to the game. You can always catch up. That's a wonderful thing about spiritual currents. You can catch up quickly. You never can be behind. Okay? Okay, let's see what's going on in this chat over here. Isaac says, I'm an emotional projector, so you complete your mental channels. I don't know if that was a question or a statement, but if you're saying you're an emotional projector, you might want to rethink that, because emotions are kind of reactions. Emotions are results of certain things. And so emotions can't be completely reliable, right? We want to look at the soul essence of things, right? Emotions are kind of results of an essence of the soul. So I want you to go a little deeper than just the emotional projections. I want you to go deeper into the soul, encompassment of the soul frequency, the soul vibration, the inner core energy, and what that means, because emotions is kind of like a little reflection of that, right? So we want you to go beyond the emotions and look at the core frequency of you, and what that empowerment looks like. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late. Yeah, it's never too late. That's a wonderful thing about spirit. You're never behind. I mean, some people can be behind and need to catch up a little bit, but you can come right on board, and spirit will welcome you. You kind of jump right onto that wave. So yeah, it's not like you have to do all this additional work. It's the realization that makes change. It's the realization that creates manifestations, right? So I always say your realization is our manifestations. When you realize something new, then you start, basically you open the blinders of your perception of life, and you start seeing more. And that's what manifestation really is. You start seeing more. You start seeing more resource. You start seeing more opportunities. You start seeing the path. And so you can maneuver easily around that. So manifestation is really opening your perception and having more of a realization process, right? So, okay, let's get onto these live readings and see what's on board. And if anyone has any questions, how are you guys feeling during this time? During this, I would say, from Aries to Taurus season, what is your guys' experience? Put it in the comments section. I want to hear what you guys have been experiencing. If you have any questions about this season too, put it in the chat box. I want to also ask questions on the general. Noel Way, good to see you. I'm just flipping through the comments. LV, good to see you. Hello. And hi, Kat, good to see you. Yes, that's good. You feel amazing. You should feel amazing. It's important to feel amazing. Okay, let's get into the readings here. SP, Stephanie, welcome. Okay, let's see who's first on deck over here. Oh, jeez, you guys got a lot in right away, very quickly. I didn't realize that. And we have Deanna for a card pull. Deanna's good to see you. And for each reading, I would love to, kind of add you guys in, bring you guys into someone's personal reading, kind of like help you guys in with the message too, and kind of make it all relatable. So you're just not listening to other people's stuff. We can kind of make it relatable to the times. Alia says, feeling much lighter and sleeping better. That's great. That's good, because this season has also brought a lot of sleepiness too. A lot of people have been very sleepy during this time. And so, yeah, you should be getting your extra sleep, and sleep should be really good, because think of it like you're preparing for the busyness. It's kind of the calm before the storm type of energy, if you think of it that way. So that's great. If you're able to sleep, that means that you are getting prepared for great, things to come, right? Which I think is awesome. That's an awesome reflection, Allie. So that's good for you to hear. Good to hear that. Michelle says, I felt a removal of something from my energy, which freed me. Wow, I feel open and excited. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, because clearly, Michelle, you've been doing the work too. So it's almost like you've done the work, and like whatever you've been doing, it's almost like it plucked that, I would say, past residue. A lot of you guys have residue from the past lingering, right? And so it's time to scrub that residue. So clearly, Michelle, you've been doing that past residue cleaning. You know, I always say it's a Febreze watered down fart, right? It's like, you know, there's still some smell, but you try to clean it out with some scent, and it just smells like a Febreze watered down fart still. Like, it doesn't really get rid of it. So I like to kind of use that analogy. But that's good. You've been taking that lesson, right? That's good too, Emily. You've been sleeping. See, a lot of you have been sleeping, but that's a good sign. That's a good sign if you're going with the flow. I, too, have been very tired and sleepy during this time, but catching up on the sleep and preparing. And Kat says, crazy dreams lately. Yes. I mean, if you're sleeping, you're going to have more dreams. My dreams have been very crazy as well, like just really, really weird. And so I've been trying to pick out the meanings and the symbology. And if you guys have questions about how to interpret, I actually did a video about interpreting dreams on one of my lives. You can find that on my YouTube too. What I like to do is take a live of whatever the topic was in a live and to cut a small video on that. So I post that, so you can find that as well. If you want to understand how to interpret dreams, I did a video on that, I think a few weeks ago. Check that out. All right, this is for Deanna. Card pull for Deanna. Let's see what it has to say. It's been some time. I think it's been 3 weeks since. Let's get it going. That's great. Cross-country trip, Jerry. I'd love to hear that too. Interesting. Gotcha. Okay. Well, they're saying this is kind of like an update. They're kind of saying, Deanna, you have been kind of like looking at yourself, and I would say you're breaking traditional norms for yourself. I think especially we're going to look for this week too. And I think that you're breaking down any type of like past patterns that have been kind of your traditions and getting out of that, you know, kind of taking more of an unorthodox approach to things. So you're going to be kind of forced into looking beyond the norm. It's primarily, you've been doing this, but primarily, you know, this week and a couple weeks ahead, and so forth. So you're going to feel a pull away from the old paradigm, which means is that, and kind of this is on board with the collective read actually, Deanna. But I feel like there's going to be, they're saying like welcoming new relationships. It's really about new relationships this year. And new, it could be friendships, but even just like casual relationships, you know, that could be flirty, if I could, for lack of better terms. So I think this year you should be very open to this new relationships, this fun energy, because they're saying take an unorthodox approach and get rid of the old ideas and old structures of how you've been maneuvering your life around. Get rid of that crap and start focusing on newer ways, thinking outside the box when it comes to relationships and meeting new people. That's what they're saying. It is time to kind of celebrate and have fun in that sense. It is a time for you to celebrate and to get into the motion of, I'm letting my hair down, and I'm not going to be so overly structured and put everything in boxes. I'm actually going to think outside the box. So they're saying this week primarily you're going to be doing such. Okay? And laying it out and allowing yourself to kind of be the forefront of things. Christopher Witecki, good to see you. Good to say hi, right? And so that's what this time is about. Yeah, last time it was 3 to 4 men. You were right, but it was just a trip. Right. It was just a trip because we said you asked me to think about the Vegas trip, and I said, I saw you meeting like 3 or 4 guys, one guy being like, you know, great, you know, to hang around, but it was just for fun. So that's another indication. So, that's great that unfolded that way. And I'm glad. Yeah. And so you're going to start seeing more of this. Understand, Deanna, this is your period for that. Embrace it. Think outside the box. That's what this whole timing is about for you. And new relationships, like abundance of relationships. All right. So the one thing they're saying is don't try to lock anything down with relationships right now. Like just let them come in, explore, and all that great stuff. All right. So I'm glad to see it's actually been unfolding for you. And I'm glad to see that I felt crazy. I'm like 3 to 4 guys, and you're gonna meet, and the fourth one would be like part of 3. And so I'm glad. I'm glad to see that it happened. I wasn't just being crazy and sounding weird at that time. But that's great. But let me say also that, Deanna, I think that's a really good reflection that you're phasing out of the old relationship and into new relationships. It's an indication of that. And you guys in the room, please understand, sometimes getting out of a relationship isn't so black and white. Sometimes there's a phasing process, so it's more comfortable for you to make that change, as long as you're making that change. If you're just sitting and complaining about the relationship, I gotta get out of this, I don't know what to do, then you're just gonna be stuck in that paradigm. But if you're making changes to get outside of yourself a little bit and do different things to take care of yourself as you're trying to disconnect from a relationship, there will be a wonderful phasing process of that. That's good. That's great. Okay, so give yourselves a little bit of patience and nurturing during these processes too. Don't be scared that this motion of May is going to push you, because it's going to be a lot of movement. Just be on board with the push. Be on board with saying, I'm open to what's going to happen. I'm open to what's going to change for me. I'm open to be led out into a newer path. I'm open to it. Show me the way, right? Just be open in that sense. This way, when the current picks up, and as it's already starting to pick up, it's kind of gotten this little bit of movement, but May's going to be a great month of movement. You'll start seeing that chaos in a sense, in a positive sense. So just be open to that, okay? Because a lot of you guys have a lot of conditional, like say if you're in marriages or going through divorces, there's a lot of conditional things that you have to process, and that's understandable, as long as you're forward thinking on that, okay? Oh, I'm stuffed up. Okay, this is for Brenda Koch. I'm going through divorce. Do you see me getting primary custody of my children? Is that for somebody else? Is that for somebody else? That question? Some people use another name. Okay, and then all right. See, this is a card pull for Brenda. I have also paid for question in custody for my daughter. Okay. Well, slap me still and call me psychic, because I'm like, that question, I was like, is that for you? Sometimes people ask a question, it's another name. I'm like, okay. So this question is for... You did 3 transactions. Sorry, guys. Somebody just did 3 transactions. I'm trying to make sense of what they were doing. Okay, the first question is not for Brenda, it's for the daughter, as I was feeling psychically. So it says, so your daughter's going through divorce. Do you see her getting primary custody of your children? I knew it wasn't reading right for me. For some reason, I get like 80-20 for some reason. Like, I don't feel it being 100%. At least that stands now. But primary, yes. Full, maybe not. Maybe it's like 80-20. But primary, yes. It's interesting because I feel like the father wants to fight this, yes. But then only wants to fight it. But at the end of the day, wouldn't really want to show up. It's weird this way. So it might be more primary, but not full, or maybe it's 60-40. I just feel like it's more in your favor, but there's still going to be a split or shared on this. I don't feel like either one's getting full at the moment, but I first heard like 80-20, so it might be in your favor. Things could change on that, but either way, regardless of that result, I do feel like they're going to want to take a step back once this is all said and done. I think they're fighting just to fight, but then wouldn't necessarily want to take full responsibility. It's really odd of that. So it reads like 80-20 to me. The percentile where it's going right now about you having primary custody in that sense. I just want to see a little more about the situation before I move on. I know it's just a simple question, but I just want to kind of go on a little bit more. I feel like he's using money as a way to fight this. I don't know if it's a lack of, or I don't know if he's like saying you don't have enough money, or I just like he's using finances as a reason why there's this fight here. I don't feel like he's really making a good claim in this fight, I would say. So I think that, that definitely has to be more of you just being kind of stable and making sure you're keeping your emotional stability during this time. But I feel like somehow he'll just keep shooting himself in the foot in a sense. It just let him talk. He'll kind of hang himself, because I do feel like there's an emotional instability with him. So, but I still feel like it's not enough. If you react too much, then they're just going to see two people that are chaotic, that they're just 50-50. But I think if you just remain you're calm through this, then I feel like it's going to be more primary you. But even if they've awarded 50-50, he wouldn't show up as much. Even if that happened, I just want to paint a picture for you. If they say 50-50, because I don't feel like it's going to be 100% his favor at all. But if they say 50-50, then he still would just not be around. It's weird like that way, but it's not. That's not a black and white situation as much as it sounds like to me, because of the dynamics. And Brenda's okay. Card pull, gotcha for Brenda. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it feels more so. But your daughter has to have a more of a consistent modality of energy. Make sure she's not being reactive. Make sure she's not, she's keeping a very even tone through the situation in the court proceedings. Because he feels belligerent to me. And I let his belligerence kind of shine for themselves. And let him shoot himself in the foot, is what they're saying. Okay. All right, this is a card pull for Brenda. Yeah, that vindictive energy. I don't like it. Yeah, he'll be around for a while. I'm still thinking about that situation, because it's kind of like it's a little funky. As I'm pulling cards for Brenda. Sorry, guys, I was going my own zone there. All right, Brenda, you have to. It's funny. It's going into this situation. Like, you have to stop carrying the burden of the situation. I get you're the mother, they're saying, but you also have to understand to take a step back right now. You might be having too much of a hands-on approach to the situation. I'm not saying I don't understand it, okay? I'm saying that you have to look and take a little bit of a step back on this situation, because I think it's fueling your daughter with rage a little bit, in a sense, and we can't have that energy right now. Okay, and so I understand it. Okay, we're saying to be strategic during this time, because we need your daughter to be, like I said, even keel. And so you got to stop talking in her ear. You need to start calming her down. You need to start saying, okay, let's be strategic about this. You have to be more of a word of reason. I feel like you're amplifying the emotion too much. So saying, take a little bit of a step back and a little bit of a hands-off approach in that sense. Okay. Because you don't want to amplify an energy in her where she becomes irrational, and then they see an irrational side of her, and then boom, it shoots her in the foot. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not saying you're not warranted for that. I'm saying you got to think ahead about that and the essence of this, so you don't lose sight and focus and start reacting to his energy where you start becoming that energy. So they're saying, please take a step back. Don't stress yourself out about this in the sense. Find more of a way to bring this more even keel energy to the circumstance, and I think you'll find a better clarity on this. And I feel like then you can boost that 80-20 to 100%, because he'll shoot himself in the foot. That's the thing. He's so clumsy. He thinks, I got all this, and then he's clumsy. All you have to do is sit back and let him speak. Let him, vomit. Emotion, vomit, verbal diarrhea in a sense. Let him do all that stuff to shoot himself in the foot, because I feel like he's going to, if you do it. So you need more advice on that so that can happen. But I feel like, after all is said and done, he'll be like, Mr. Big Shot wants custody, but he won't show up. You know what I'm saying? He's all talk, no show. And so take advantage of that. Let him shoot himself in the foot. But either way, whether the court's rule, he'll be kind of an absent dad in a sense. He might take a month where he's like, I'm all hands on, and all of a sudden he's out of the picture. So I want you to understand that process so you can calm things down for your daughter, they're saying. So it's interesting, the card pull came out in relation to that question for you. Excuse me on that. All right, Ashley Sandoval. Hi, Scott. I just want to know if I'm getting closer to being in a relationship with that special someone. I think you're going to... let me just... I'm going to sound like a Debbie Downer on this, but I promise I'm going to have a point to this. The special someone, I don't like that phrase. I feel like you're sugarcoating what you want. And I think that you're not grabbing yourself by the soul and saying, I want a relationship. I want a life partner. I'm ready to settle down and build a relationship with a life partner. Like, you're too dancing around it, beating around the bush. So I'm going to just pick out the psychological things I'm seeing in this. Am I going to meet a special someone? It's like, cut the crap. Say, I want to start a relationship, and I want a relationship that's going to be, very kind of, life partnership. I'm ready to build a life with somebody and share my life with someone. I'm ready to have that expression. You are steps away. Is it lagging now? Nina, are you there? Let's see. I'm going to pause and see if the lag is right. Okay, I'm just waiting to see if the lag is still done. But you're steps away, though. Yes, you are steps away from that, but you got to get rid of that. Let's see. Is it better? Sometimes it happens. There's too many 22s in the room. Get him out of the room, the 22s. Yeah, we'll wait till the lag to end, here. Okay? We'll wait till the lag to end. We're still waiting for the lag to end. Just waiting for the lag to end. It should clear. Sometimes YouTube does this to catch up. I don't know why. So, it's back. All right, we're back. Are we back in the business here? Okay. So, like I was saying, Ashley... we're back. It lags sometimes. It's like a bumpy ride. But yes, you're steps away. But you have to be more affirmative. You're dancing around the bush too much because you're beating around the bush too much. Excuse me. No pun intended. Because I think you're afraid to acknowledge this. And there's a worth issue behind that says, I don't know if I'm worth it. Am I worth saying it? I feel crazy silly for wanting this. It's like, own it. Own it. Own it. It's a simple energy that's blocking you. You're not owning it. And you're not... You take it seriously, but you're not taking it seriously. So that's what you want to be applying into that. And then you'll be steps away from this. You need someone who's also very playful. You need someone who is light. The person that I'm seeing eventually coming into your life is very light, is quirky, and loves kind of like, maybe it's so quirky, likes kind of like comics or something like that. Like loves kind of quirky things. And that's just an expression, right? And so you need someone who thinks outside the box. That's a partnership that you need. Someone is, almost understands their inner child, right? That's the type of dynamic that you need in your life. And so I feel like that's a person you're going to meet eventually. I don't like to forecast the love of your life for the rest of your life because I think that's something that can alter and shift. But for me, I feel like that once you kind of put your foot down, you'll start understanding the calibration of that person. And then, again, he appears very quirky, very down to earth, knows his inner child, loves kind of childlike things, but isn't immature, but just knows to have a little more fun in that sense and has a light energy. That's what you need. So that's the person I see coming in at some point, but you just got to press play on it. Get rid of that. Get rid of that hesitation. And say, yeah, no, I want a life partnership. I want to build a life partnership. I want this now. Like, feel that seriousness of that. Not that you're taking it seriously, but feel the power of that. Okay? And then all will be good. So they're just saying you're steps away. Steps away. So it really depends on you. Hey, so sister, Sydney Aaron. Someone came back into my life right before the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. He's a farmer. Is there any significance to know about the connection? Thank you. Anything about that? I mean, I hate to sound so vague and cliche about this, but it's almost like because he's a farmer, but I really feel that you are in harvest period right now. So I think it's just kind of like a symbol of that. Anything specific with the individual? Not really. I really feel like it's a symbol of harvest, of you harvesting more and being in a harvest period. In that sense. So I'm kind of like picking apart what you literally just gave me, but it's true. But with the actual dynamic, no, I don't know. I don't know if it's bringing so much to you as far as like, again, thinking about the future, thinking about, like I said before, planting new seeds, harvesting old seeds. So I think that's really kind of the literal symbolic expression of this. I'm not feeling like a romantic pull, I'm not feeling a romantic pull in that sense, or something that needs to be, hit home or taken that seriously. It just feels like a resonation of the future, but also kind of the past, and planting new seeds. And sometimes these random things happen, Sydney. Sometimes these random connections come out of nowhere, especially when we're changing. Sometimes past things start leaking back in. That's normal. So a lot of times when you guys are making change, it kind of, you'll see things of the past start trickling in. God, that lag, like half the viewership dropped with that lag. It's crazy with that lag going. Yeah, so look at it more literally, the symbol. It's really, my guy just saying it really is that literal. Yes, 100%. That lag kicked like half the viewers out of the room. I don't know what happened with that lag, but it screwed up my viewers. Not that I look at that, I just noticed that when I was trying to figure out the lag. Stephanie Prr. For Stephanie Prr. Oh, wow. 3-week autoimmune flare from your Hashimoto's. That's crazy. Yeah, that's great. That's intense. Erica. It's intense. You did, Sydney. Of course you're going to. Of course you're going to interpret it correctly. Of course. Okay. This is for Stephanie. Interesting to get the secrets. Let me freshen up on this card for a minute, because I never usually get it in the reverse position. And I don't usually read reverses. Sometimes I do, but in this case I want to. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, makes sense. So this is financial for you, Stephanie. I feel like, whatever investments or things that you were doing that were not really catching up for you financially, I think they'll start doing so this year. So this will be more of a financial movement for you this year. Okay. I think a lot of things that may have been maybe didn't really come to light will start coming to light in the financial sector. So I think there'll be a lot of celebrations with more financial movement this month for you. And I think that, expect the unexpected in that sense. So I think you're gonna have a lot more financial movements, and the things that you've been kind of plotting for a while start coming to light. And so I think for you, it's really kind of the manifestation of the seeds that you've been planting, but more on the financial investment space. Okay. That's what I'm finding, that where this really happens, more so this month for you in that retrospect, and having all the resources that you need for the next step as well. Again, I don't think this is going to be a very romantic, year for you. It's going to be more career driven. So, and having more fun in that sense, but it's more career focused. But again, it's really more about financial investments this month, and finances moving, and things that you've been trying to plan for and invest in are moving and so forth. So it seems to be a lot of movement in that aspect, which is great. And they're saying expect the unexpected. Maybe the connections and contacts that you've had that you never heard from or didn't hear back from come into fruition, come into contact. All right. So that's a good sign, in that retrospect for that. And I'll pull another oracle card on that. Bada bing, bada boom. No romance for you. No, it's not about that. It's about that she's focusing. It's about you're focusing on more of what's important with work to get that going. Yeah, I love this because, you got, as a card falls on the floor, which I don't want to bend down. it was wisdom, nourishment, and power was the 3 cards. The wisdom fell on the floor, too far to me to get. Nourishment and power. So again, if we're talking about the career aspect and sector of your life and the unexpected, there's gonna be a lot of that authority that you're gonna have, a lot of that, movement and power. And when I say authority, I'm talking about controlling, being a leader of something and supervising something. So I think you're going to kind of fulfill that, because of the wisdom and what you've obtained through the experiences of your work. So understand that being in charge energy is going to start to come into light too, and in conjunction to the financial movements and investments. So that's good. Good. So you'll see a lot of that, come to fruition. And there's one person that did a thumbs down up there. Look at that. That one person is trolling again, the poor thing. Trolls make me laugh. Okay, who's next on the list over here? And next we have is did I get that? Yes, Brenda. Okay, and Erica Amodi. Okay, yeah. I'm coming out of a 3-week death, rebirth, illness that was the strongest initiation of my life. What advice is there as I continue to get my strength back as the newer self? And 2, whatever you want to share. Okay. Let me see. It's interesting because I feel a lot of this, the illness is karmic for me. It's past life shit. Let me see what it is, Erica. It stopped my voice and message before. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Not every illness is karmic, not every health issue is karmic, but this one feels karmic to me, and that was the first thing I got when you put that question in. I think primarily it really is about you shedding those layers of physical anchorship, and let me explain what I mean. I think it really is for you to understand the power that you have beyond the physical repressions and the physical anchors. And I feel like coming through something like this is going to kind of heal a lot of your karmic past of... it's interesting because this might sound very strange to a lot of people, but I don't care. If you don't like it, then go somewhere else. If you don't understand it, read about it. But one of your previous incarnations, I feel like you did a lot of self-harm. And I think a lot of this health issue that you've been going through is karmic of that, to relieve that, to show that there's power through that, through healing, to power to self-love and have self-healing in that fashion, because this past incarnation of self-harm. And so I think this is bringing to light a lot of the fact of there are things that are out of your control and there are things that are in your control. And the things that have happened because it's out of your control, you can take control and change it. And it's bringing a lot of that emotional, intellectual, and spiritual realization that you can take charge of your overall physical well-being. And so that's what this karmic lesson is about. And so once you, I would say, ignite that realization, almost like the past karmic self goes away. It's not about self-harm anymore, and physical harm in that sense. It's about physical care and emotional care and spiritual care. So I think that's what this is really coming out to be. And so this is really a healing process. I think it's a great paradigm. And so what you want to be doing right now during this time is that you want to be focusing not so much on like what you should be doing, but what you should be feeling. Okay. And what is this really making you feel like? And, because a lot of the self-harm I'm feeling from the previous incarnation is because of the fact that you want it outside of your body. You don't want to be in your body. Right. And so in this incarnation, you're trying to understand what it's like to be comfortable in your body and understand no matter what happens with the body, you're still finding the soul resonation underneath it all. And so this is actually a wonderful time, especially when you think of shingles and the autoimmune and all that type of irritation. It's an irritation. And it's very external too, in a sense. So I think when you come to terms with that emotionally and you allow yourself to kind of, express the frustrations, but express the care and the need for, to recover and to actually embrace your physicality and embrace the physical body and to embrace the physical body as an expression of your soul, and that's important to you, that you cherish that, then you'll actually have a great deal of healing both on the spiritual level, karmic level, and the physical levels. Okay, you will almost see an acceleration of such. Now, the autoimmune issue may be something that lingers around for the rest of your life, but that's something that will only flare up when you go back to your old paradigm. So take this autoimmune situation as an indication when you're out of alignment, or when you're not appreciating the self or the body and allowing the body to sync with the soul. And once you bypass this chapter, you'll probably be less likely to be doing that type of, subconscious self-harm, that you'll be in the paradigm of actually caring and appreciating and becoming one with your physical body. So that's why you have something you have to maintain right now in this lifetime. Okay? Oh, I'm getting stuffed up. These lights, I think, affect my allergies for some reason. Every time I'm on these bright lights, I get stuffed up. So I think that's important, to think about. So it's not about what you're doing; it's about how you're feeling, and then you'll start acting and behaving accordingly to do what you need to do on the physical level to take care of the physical body, because you already are intuitive. I feel like you already are a channel in that sense, And I think it's time for yourself to allow yourself to be serious. And not shrug things off, and to be really kind of serious about how you really feel, and allow yourself to be more vulnerable about the insecurities that you have and so forth. Good. Well, you don't want to stop yourself. You just want to recalibrate it. Like, it's okay if you let the old self talk a little bit. A lot of times, if the old self comes up, I just sit down and talk to it like as if I'm in a conversation. Okay, what do you want to tell me? All right, I'm not good enough. Okay, and what else? And I just drag it out. Sometimes you don't want to stop that pattern. Let the pattern ride out while you're being conscious of that, so you can allow yourself to address it and shift it. Okay? Too many times we stop a pattern too soon, and then we just I got to do this and go this direction. It's so unnatural. Instead of just letting that voice talk until it can't talk anymore, and say, I'm listening. Tell me all the self-defeatist mindsets that you have. Tell me all. I want to hear it all. And I think that when you sit back and just allow it to exhaust itself, you'll have more power over it, because it will lose its power. It really will. If you just let it exhaust itself, then okay, I have dominion over this pattern. I have dominion off this narrative. So we're going here now. Now I'm driving the show over here now. Self-appreciation. I'm in love with my body and my temple in a sense. And I'm letting my body be an expression of my soul. Okay? Yes, exactly. It is that child that needs to share everything. Let it talk, even if it makes no sense. Let it talk. Okay. Hope that makes sense. And yeah, I kind of elaborated more on that. Hey, Chase, thank you for that compliment. And you have a great smile. Okay, next we have Rebecca Delaney for a card pull. Let's see what's going on there. But you guys understand, the physical body is a reflection of the subconscious and the soul, and also the conscious mind. So you're going to get a lot of variables of expression through your physicality based on what's going on in your subconscious and conscious mind. So I think it's very important that you guys understand where things are linking to, and do that kind of inner work to reflect on past incarnations or even in this present incarnation. But I would say the patterns that we have in this incarnation is pretty much a continuation from a previous incarnation of what we didn't finish. Otherwise, we would not be in this incarnation. So think of it very simplistically like that. Okay. Thank you, Benjamin. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. And good to see you. Glad you're in the room. So keep that in mind, guys. And don't judge yourselves or be so hell-bent of saying, I got to fix this. You'll fix it, but figure out what it is first. Isn't that stupidly simple? Like, what is this? Why is this here? Simple question. Why is this here? All right. There's a shuffling card for Rebecca Delaney. All right, Rebecca. They're saying you're carrying a little bit too much. You're taking on too much responsibility. Of course, it's a card pull, so it's general, right? So it's just, simple thing. But they're saying you're carrying too much. You got to stop carrying too much. That means the responsibilities of others, burdens of others, that's not yours. And that, you have to understand your level of responsibility, when it comes to your relationships and what you're not responsible for. And you got to find that balance because, I think that you have to start thinking about, the world through your lens. And not through the lens of other people, through your own lens. Think of life that way. Because I do feel like there's going to be a trip this year too, or some sort of traveling experience this year that you'll experience that will get you out of that modality to get you to let your hair down and have some more fun this year. So there will be a trip this year to get you to do so. But they're saying like you have to understand that you have to stop carrying the responsibility and burdens of others. And you're seeing the world through the lens of other people too much and not through your own perspective. But I feel like, once you let your hair down on this trip that comes about, it might come about this year, or you might plan it this year for next year, but I feel like you'll know about it this year, then you're going to feel that freedom, that experience. And I don't know if you're going to be going to a different country or something of that nature, or taking an overseas trip or something of that nature. But I just feel like it's going to be a freeing experience that you need to experience. And guys, sometimes it's that stupidly simple. Sometimes you need to do something that's just fun, just to change the energy, just to kind of change the momentum and the rhythm. And sometimes it takes something stupidly simple, like a trip or going to a store or something of that nature, to get yourself out of a modality of thinking, to appreciate yourself. To understand the power that you're just throwing away. And so in your case, Rebecca, you throw your power away too much. Okay? But remind yourself of what you're being responsible for and what you're not responsible for, and see the world through your own lens, not through the lens of another. And I feel like there's a male energy around your life, or that's been in your life. It's just very vague to me right now. It's a card pull, but I feel like there's a male energy that's been kind of dominating your viewpoint in life. It could be a father energy in the past, or just men in general. I don't know specifically in that sense right now on that, but it feels like it just could be more general. That sometimes you let the male energies in your life deter your perspective and how to see things. Okay, so you want to not have that be a consistent filter in your life. So that's that. And guys, everyone in this room, like, this is your life. You should be asking yourself, how do you see things happening? Not how other people see things happening. What other people are going to think about, like what you do or not do. Who cares? Like, we're not in high school. We're grown adults. It's time for us to focus on our perception of what we want in our lives. It's that simple, but so many people do not do that. A lot of people are seeking validation through online people, through psychics, through therapists, through all these other people are seeking validation, when it's really it's your life to get in gear. You don't need the approval from anybody. There's no competition on this. You should be very much trying to win your own race in a sense. Allison Fitzwilliam, card pull. Let's get it. I feel like you've done a change. There feels to be a change, Allison, that you've made. Did you sign up for something? Did you sign up for a class? Did you sign up for something new? I feel like a new sign up or something, or you're looking into schooling or something. So it feels very now. So if you haven't signed up for something new, or new schooling or new class or something of that nature, I feel like it's right around the corner. So I feel a shift of, I'm doing this. I'm doing this now. I'm going to go to this class, or I'm going to take this, whatever I need to do to learn, this education. I feel like you're going to do that. If you haven't done it already, it feels like now energy. So that's good. They're saying that you are stepping outside of that comfort zone and you're allowing yourself to be the process. So this is more of a confirmation for you, okay? This is more a confirmation of getting outside of yourself, making change. So the card just kind of saying what I'm just saying now. And so whether you've done it conditionally or not, I feel like you've intellectually done it. Like, okay, I'm looking to classes. Okay, I'm going to build this up. So I feel like there's been a great shift that they want to confirm for you. And they're saying, keep doing that. So if you haven't signed up for the class, or start taking classes in that sense, or the education, you probably will feel a push to do right around the corner. This month at some point, where it'll be way easy for you to do it in. So, good. You did. Good. That's awesome, because I think that's a confirmation that you're doing the right thing. You're understanding that's a process. Good, fantastic. Because even with the Hermit card in reverse coming up, they're saying that you're getting outside of yourself. right? You're not holding yourself back in a sense. So that's very important. So they just want to congratulate you on this part. 'Cause like before I even pull the cards, I'm like, just a change. She had a change. So it's good. So they want to commend you and keep going forth with that because as you know, your mission is to nurture people. But you, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. But you have to understand how to nurture the self and to nurture your own self desires. Okay, so yay! I love to see that movement for you, and I love that it's they're saying like it clicked finally. Right? That's great. I love those type of reads. So I'm very happy to see your progression on that. Okay. Let's see if there's another question. I'm not going to do another card pull yet, so I'm going to go to... I know there's a PayPal. Un momento, por favor. And yes, I can use that voice because I'm half Puerto Rican and Italian, so I can do that voice. It's not cultural appropriation. Does it show? You mean, do I see? What does it mean? Do I show? What do you mean? What do you mean where you're going? What do you mean by that question? Is that figuratively speaking, or what do you mean by that question? I don't understand the question. Like, does it? Remember, it's me. I'm reading it. I love that question. When you say work, because again, it's more for the spiritual space. Like that's what I'm feeling like, to be more in the spiritual space. You know, in that sense. Okay, here's for Chase. There's Chase. Okay, gotcha. Chase, one question. I'm 34, and a big part of me trusts and has experience that I can ask myself questions, receive answers from those questions, and sincere answers are needed. Yet I haven't ever really felt a direct connection to any specific guides. Any insight? Okay, great. Chase, you still in the room? This is for you. Okay. One thing which you understand, I think people get hung up too much on guides, right? That they're looking for a specific connection. The best way, the easiest way is to say spirit, generally speaking. Let me tap into you and your abilities for a moment and see what you're experiencing too. And see why you're experiencing that too. Give me a couple seconds. Because I want to dive into your abilities. Okay. Okay. You have psychic ability. You partially have mediumship abilities, but it has to be, you have to evolve it. Like you could, if you worked more so on channeling, then I think you really develop a strong sense of mediumship. So they're just saying it's there, but that would have to be developed more, right? So those of us who've incarnated, like I was in psychic medium when I was like a kid, but that's because I was practicing in a previous incarnation. You've evolved in a sense where you've kind of dabbled, but like you haven't fully. So you have this awareness and the psychic and mediumship ability, but it needs to be developed more. Now, as far as receiving answers and questions, you might be posing them the wrong way, they're saying to me. So I want you to understand maybe the questions you should be asking for is not so much what you should or shouldn't do, but more about clarity in a picture. Right? And asking more a question about realizing and exposing what the soul is really desiring. That's a better format of a question. So if you're saying, should I do this? And you're waiting for an answer, you're probably not going to get that. You know, you're probably not going to get a yes, do this, no, do that from a guide. A guide's not going to tell you what to do. And everybody in the room listens to this. It can help a lot of people in the room. A guide will not tell you what to do. They will be silent. They're not there to tell you what to do. They're there to guide you. Okay, so you can say to yourself, okay, guys, tell me more about this experience here. Show me more of what I need to see about this. Boom, you'll get it. But just like a text message, they may not respond right away. They may respond in other aspects in your life that will show up to give you that clarity, depending on where you're at in the state of asking the question. But if you want to ask yourself if you should be doing something or not be doing something, that's an impulse. So if you say to yourself, should I do this? And your soul goes, yes. Listen to that. That's a very impulsive energy. It's not so much a message being received, it's an intuitive response. So the things that you should be doing or not doing, ask your soul that, you'll get a direct response. But if you are actually trying to ask for guidance or something, ask your guides to give you a clear picture and insight. They will not tell you what to do or not to do. So that's kind of the first part I want you to understand about developing your questions and asking your questions more where to it can be beneficial. Okay, because again, your guides are not going to tell you what to do or not to do. They will not do that. They're not. You have free will. Okay. Now, I want you to understand too the difference between intuition and your physical responses, because they're saying you're highly empathetic. So you have to understand the difference between empathy and intuition. And so I do have a session for that. So I don't have time to dive deep into this. I'm not trying to be a salesman, but I do have a session that I can, if you're interested, that can help you to decipher the two. But they're saying you have to decipher between your intuition, empathy, and also your logic. There's 3 different components. You do have, like I said, psychic ability in that, which could also be intuition, but also you have empathy as well. So the problem is you have different channels of such. You have different dynamics of such. It could be confusing. Spirit does not want to overwhelm you either. And so I want you to understand, okay, I have psychic ability, I have empathy, I'm an empath, but I also can channel too. I can be a mediumship in that sense. I need you to separate those for a moment so you can look at them more directly and understand the different channels that they possess. In psychic ability, intuition is from the soul. That's very instinctual. Psychic ability is like a reading sense, okay? Empathy is, again, you're being objective, and Cancer, I was going to say, Cancerian energy, it's highly emotional. Make sure you're not absorbing the emotions of others. And this way you're not taking that as intuition, okay? So I'm being simple on this because of time's sake. And your mediumship is you'll feel a different force that's communicating with you. We all have the ability to connect with guides, and that's a mediumistic ability. So when you're kind of asking questions of guides, ask them in a way that you're asking for information and knowledge, and you'll get more of a response on this. Even like, who are you, guides? Or show me who you are. You'll get all that information, okay? Then you won't be feeling like you're getting random shit, or you won't be feeling like you're not getting responses. It all will make sense. This is kind of giving you the phone numbers of what you need to do to get the right call, to make the connection. So the first thing I definitely would practice for you is making sure that you're understanding the difference between your empathy and absorbing versus intuition. Intuition is more objective. Empathy is very kind of absorbing in a sense. But you want to use your intuition to become more objective. It's very complex. But again, it's more requiring of a session for that because there's so much more to go into. But I want to give you the kind of tidbits, the jump start of what to be focusing on. Okay? And our guides will come through as they come through. You don't necessarily need to know their names of that. They can come to you more specifically. Your guides don't have physical names. So I don't like to give names unless, again, you've heard the name and I can psychically pick up on that. Then I've had that happen in sessions. But if you're just meeting your guides, you don't need to know their name. Just say guide. Just say, hey, you, whatever works, as long as you're channeling that energy to get that guidance and inspiration and perspective on things, then you'll get more of a cleaner response. All right? But again, I think that in time, the mediumistic abilities will come in so many different formats. So you do have that gift of insight. I think you're more of a clairsentient, clairvoyant. Okay, so everyone who's listening, there's different senses. There's clairvoyance, clairsentience. Clairvoyance is obviously visual. You can see visions. Clairsentience means you can feel things, right? And claircognizance means you just know. Like I'm in a position where I read something, I just know. Like I know the person, and there's clairaudience. So obviously it's audible. So you, Chase, you're more clairsentient, clairvoyant, dominant. So that means you're more prone to feeling the essences of things first, and then being very visual at the same time. Secondary. So we can work on that more. If you're interested in the session, I'm not trying to be a salesman, but I'm just saying there's so much more to make it make sense. But if you're interested, we can get that in gear. Okay, but if not, take what I said and do some more research on that yourself, and understand how to develop. Okay, and I would say with your Cancer sun and moon, actually take advantage of that, man, because the feeling, the emotional responses that Cancerians have can be so magical. That's why a lot of my Cancerian friends really practice magic in a sense, or in the cult. Because they know how to utilize and summon that energy to manipulate the energy space. The occult is not demonic or negative, and even demons are not demonic. That's another story. It's just understanding how to utilize black energy and white energy. They're both just very neutral energy with different effects. So you have that ability to really kind of, maneuver in that magical space. Okay, so take advantage of the Cancerian energy. It's a very powerful energy of feeling and clairsentience, which can be very, very predictive and insightful. But if it's out of balance, you'll just be an emotional person in disarray all the time. Like, you know? So, all right. Hope that makes sense, my friend. You have a great vibe, great energy. Okay, card pull for Sarah Morris. For Sarah Morris. I mean, again, just by the Cancer and energy, that's anybody can say Cancer is sensitive. My closest friends are like Cancers and Tauruses. So I have very sensitive people around me and very like hard-headed people around me. That's obviously kind of a reflection of me being an Aquarius and a Virgo rising and a Gemini moon. So my Aquarius is very kind of sensitive, emotional, and laid back, and my Virgo's are in your face. So it makes sense. I gravitate to Cancers and Tauruses consistently, I would say. April, good to see you. What's going on? Hello. Okay, this is for Sarah Morris. Card pull. Interesting, because there's going to be a change in a dynamic of a relationship or partnership. But I feel like that is going to bring financial rewards. So that might bring any type of inheritance, unexpected monies. If there's a legal issue, you win. It comes in your favor. So, and if this is unbeknownst to you, then it will come about, and understand that things will work in your favor as long as you understand what the process is bringing to you emotionally, and that you stay strong in your perspective. So yes, there will be a change in a situation, and that will create a legal matter that will be in your favor. And again, either through an inheritance, or it is like I said, a legal matter, or unexpected monies. Because I feel like there's been something withheld from you, or you realize something has been withheld from you. And then, of course, you start breaking that down. So I think that it's a good read in a sense. If it's not something you're in now, because it reads really like now energy, so it could be like about to happen, if not already. But if it's sounds scary, it's actually not. It's actually not. So, so they're saying, when this comes about, understanding will resolve in your favor. You just have to be adamant on being, focused on moving this forward. But that's why I'm like, is it an inheritance, or maybe that means if it is the inheritance energy, then you have to kind of make sure you're on board with like the trust, or making sure you're diving deep to make sure you're getting what you're entitled to, or if it's a legal issue that again you're being very adamant at looking at, make sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed in that sense, and it works in your favor. So it seems like an unexpected financial increase in that sense that works in your favor. Okay. It's interesting that the two of swords in this is the second part. So they're saying you'll have to make a decision on something too. It might be an investment idea or a work idea. You might be pulled between two different oppositions or two different choices, and they're saying that what you've been doing with trying to create work or new work, or whatever the case is, what you've been trying to invest in is going to come to fruition. And so that's a good thing. And I think that you'll find a lot of freedom through these different perspectives, opportunities. I feel like I need to get back to work, or need to start a new work, or start something new in that sense. So I think that you'll have two options or two paths to take, and that a lot of this will also come into fruition when it comes to this new idea of work, or new idea to start something new in that sense. Because I don't know if you were not working for a while, and then you're like, I got to get back to work, or you haven't been doing something in a while for something new, and that new comes in. That's what they're saying. So it's actually a pretty good read. So there might be some like things, confusion a little bit about things that come in your life, but then whatever happens, there's some legal, rewards in your favor, as well as a new opportunity or idea that kind of gets you into this new, I wouldn't say work or project or whatever the case is. And that will make more sense coming ahead, because a lot of this is still being, I would say, rendered in your trajectory. So it's not so crystal clear yet. But it's good because it's also showing movement. Rebecca Wallace says, I found out a friend of mine passed away. Her partner just posted news about it 1 week after her death. It feels so strange and sudden. I had the impulse that perhaps there was something nefarious involved. Do you see that, or was it a chronic illness or a sudden ending? Let me see. Um. Hmm. It feels. I have to respect the privacy of these things, too. Rebecca, if these people don't want that to be released out, then I can't evade someone's privacy. Sorry, you had to hear that, my sons. But let me sit on this, because I have to make sure that if I can't go break. If someone wants to keep that private, it's to stay private, and we're in a live. So, but let me see if your friend wants to tell you herself. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an illness. It feels self-induced to me. It feels like a heart, something, obviously the heart, right? So usually the heart stops. So something caused the heart to stop, and it feels like a substance to me. So it feels like she might have taken her life. It's what it feels to me. Tried to protect that image, but I feel like I'm allowed to say it to you because there's a connection there that you should be entitled to know. I don't think it wants to be public, so I wouldn't put this publicly. But I definitely feel like there was some sort of a self-harm or self-induced situation, or too much of a substance in a sense, or too much of a medication in a sense, something of that nature. Because I see like medications or pills or too much of that or something of the nature, or took her life in that sense too. So I would wait for that information to come to you, but I feel like they're trying to protect the imagery of the taking of the life. It's funny, I don't want to say suicide, because I'm like, maybe it was accidental too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she did something, it wasn't necessarily suicide, but it was accidental. And so, but I see a substance or medication involved in this. You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, I'm like, was it an accident? Like, no, it wasn't an accident. Was it a health issue? No, because they would have asked for assistance on this. So it doesn't feel like that to me either. It feels that nature, and it doesn't feel like murder or anything like that. I'm just sitting on that too, because that's a bold claim. No, it doesn't feel like murder. Or like, someone's speculating that she was poisoned too. So I don't know about that either. Someone's speculating whether she was poisoned or not too. I don't feel that, or it feels accidental to me, or it feels like, again, like it was, if it was suicide, it was like not meant to, if she took her own life in that sense, it was like not intended. It was something she did. It's just fuzzy like that. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. So, and there's just too much of that I think that's why they don't want to say what happened, because it could be speculation. Well, did she poison? Did she give her too much of this? And did she poison? So it feels like a lot of that reckless energy. So I feel like at some point you'll hear about this, or get some indications of this. I feel like it'll come out at some point, But my condolences to you on that. And, I know it's very difficult to have a friend that, having a situation where it's like it's in the dark. So, it's frustrating. But allow her to be in spirit more, because maybe it's been too recent, or I don't know. I'm not getting a clear feed from her, so maybe it just needs to be more time in spirit. You know what I'm saying? Where it needs to be, where I can get more of a clear reception from her, and you'll get it too. I think you have intuition to be able to read it too. We can get a good pull on what you really feel that is. And she'll be able to inspire you too, as she becomes more clear in the physical world and the connection to be able to be more clear. Sometimes when people pass on, they kind of don't hover on the physical sense. They want to recalibrate their spirit in order to the spirit to be free from the physicalities of what's happened in that life review process. And then once the soul feels completely free of the physical experiences and limitations, it releases the spirit version, and the soul can move on. So the soul doesn't ever want to leave the spirit version in contempt of their physical experiences or trauma. That's why we do a life review, and this way we can put the spirit version into a complete purified version of that, and then the soul moves on. Then the spirit version is left connected to the soul, but left from each incarnation that we have as interactable. Okay? It's very sticky, Rebecca, the situation. And again, as a medium, not every situation, I would say 99% of the situations I read are not black and white. Even though a lot of things are common, they're really not. It's so different in every variable, a lot of different variables. So, all right, and we're on to more card pulls. We have Marissa Patriou as a question. You're amazing. You're amazing, Sydney. I love you. Well, thank you for that. How good. I could show up and do work and just get complimented. Isn't that amazing? That's such a blessing, actually. Marissa Patriou. I was offered a job to teach bar. I feel very conflicted about taking the position and wondering if it's the right fit or if it's in my highest interest to be working on my book solely me, or if it's in my highest interest to be working on my book solely. Okay, got it. They're saying to do both. They're saying you need to multitask. Isn't that fun, Marissa? They're saying multitask. They're saying you're going to learn a lot from this positioning. That's going to give you a lot more insight and to also be working on the book as well. Okay? So they're saying do both. They're both in your highest interests. And I feel like the experience and connections you'll be making at this position will, even though it doesn't make sense why I would connect, will start connecting for your book and to push it forward. So they're saying to make sure you can balance the both out, because they're both experiences at some point, even though it doesn't seem like it now, that in the end they're going to connect and both going to be kind of, you'll be glad you've done both at the same time concurrently. So saying do both right now. Make sure you can multitask between the two as you will. And that I think that, again, that's going to be more, I would say, fueling for you to finish the book, and more insightful, and you have more inspiration. I like this positioning for you to teach. And I think you incorporate a lot of that teaching elements into your writing as well. And because your writing will somewhat be teaching in a sense. So it's really more about getting into the paradigm, the modality and rhythm of teaching. Being on in front of people and helping and assisting people in a sense. So like that's part of what you want to be doing with your writing, is teaching through your writing and your book and so forth, and having that type of element in a sense through however you're telling your story. So no, the experience of that positioning and teaching is, I would say, very much a necessary component for you. So they're saying do both. Sarah Cheney. Sarah, I have a special place in my heart for Miss Sarah. She's awesome. Let's see what she has here. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, guys, if you can't pick between one or another, option, sometimes it's saying if you can't pick, maybe you have to think about doing the two options. Maybe it's both. Sometimes it's this and that. Not all the times is it this or that. Right? Sometimes it's this and that. And if we look at that saying, what if it is both, and see how they actually can connect with each other, you'll have more clarification. So. Yeah, I think I remember that. I'm not sure. All right. Interesting. Wow. Okay. This is kind of confirmatory, and I haven't been showing the cards because, the cards guide me. I just read. Four of Swords. You're setting your ground. You're making your mark now, your dent in life. And I think that, it really is you getting outside of your comfort zone in a sense, because the Four of Wands is kind of up in the reversed, is kind of getting out of your comfort zone. The upright position for me, because I kind of make my own meanings of things, but it's in alignment to what they really mean. But Four of Wands upright is like kind of nesting in your environment, your home space, new home in that sense. In reverse is saying like you get outside of your norm, and you are getting outside of your norm. You're getting outside of your routine and regimen. The Emperor in reverse, same thing. Like you're getting out of the structure of things and finding more of the fluidity in life. And I think that, prior to this, past few months, I think you've been very rigid in your approach of how things need to happen in life, and so there's been a spiritual awakening here that's getting you out of that rigidness, and with the Emperor in reverse. And so and I think that this is where you're going to find the I would say more of a spiritual agility, of knowing how to tackle the different environments, knowing how to like tackle things head on, of what you've been envisioning for quite some time, and making more sense of, you know, your teachings and healings and so forth, you know, going into that type of practice and sense. So this period right now is very important because it is kind of bringing more fluidity. It is bringing more movement to the lack of movement in a sense. And it sounds odd, but a lot of you guys might think that, you know, we have to be focusing so much on time and doing, but you'll find more movement in the stillness. Like this life, this 3D world is very paradoxical. So you don't realize, if you were to just take a step back and just listen and just to chill and to absorb and to, like, you know, take a pause and things, you'll realize how much more movement you're realizing and how much more movement you're doing within your thought processes. So so yes, X-Lax is a great sense of movement too, and maybe take a Dramamine. So they're saying this period for you, Sarah, is a period where it's going to make sense for you because of this. I would say getting out of your comfort zone is actually making more sense for you to actually tackle these different aspects of what you've been trying to tackle. Okay? And there's, again, another confirmatory read of saying that they're embracing that you're going through this time right now and doing so. And all the different, you know, resonations of, you know, how, if you want to do sound bathing, sound healing, how those different elements are going to come to a point, and you understand how you're going to express all those different aspects. So it's a really good period. It's really good shifting for you, you know. But yeah. I always have too much bowel movements. I need something to clog it up. I'm too regular. Speaking of X-Lax, I'm so regular. I go like 4 times a day. 3 times. Allie, I'm still looking for a trainer. Do you see what this person may look like? Thanks, Allie. I think I said probably in May. Like maybe the last time I think you asked this question before. I think we said around like May, June. You have that. It feels like a male energy. Oh, Michelle, I have a lot of cheese. I do eat a lot of cheese. That's a staple of my diet. I have a lot of cheese. It does feel like it could be a male energy, and possibly a secondary female too. So just saying, be patient on this. You had to take care of yourself for a minute, and I think maybe the last week we said that too, like focus on yourself and healing yourself right now, and getting your health in order, but that this will be coming through. So I think you're still in process of that showing up, so it could be May or June in that sense, but it really kind of it depends on when you feel the, I would say, physical agility and health and wellness, when this will start coming in, where you're able to now focus on that. So keep on focusing your betterment of your health, and it will come in when you're actually ready to take on that. So, but remember, you got to do the work of looking too. Right? It's not going to knock on your door, as we said before. Just keep looking and making your connections with such. Okay. Yeah, but it's not about being patient so much as it is making sure you're healing right now and focusing on the health first. Because when you dive on into this legality, then you're going to have to have the strength to do so. So once you allow yourself to kind of have this, like, you know, refresher to rebuild the health right now, then you'll have the strength to move forward with the legalities and be more focused on this. But keep doing your searching, like keep reaching out. It's not going to come out of nowhere in a sense. You know what I mean? So, but I kind of feel like I said May last time, you know, like it's just, you know, we're predicting like someone's going to come in your life. But it's like, it's in the next few months, right? So, no, you're not being lazy. You're actually just kind of allowing yourself to take care of your health first. But you'll know when the timing's right, because you'll be like, okay, I feel cool. Now I can tackle the legalities. You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, that concludes the readings. And so, guys, take advantage of this wonderful energy and current we have. I just want to double check, make sure I am concluding readings, that I didn't miss anybody. And I think I did. Okay, good. Because I don't want to skip anybody. But you guys have me here every Thursday. I love seeing every one of your faces. Your energies is great. Join us every Monday for Leading Out Loud, LOL. Okay, come join us for our spiritual shift show. And we'll be doing that every Mondays. We're here every Thursday. I'm here every Thursday. And then we also have Serious Joy every Friday. So you got Mondays to entertain you, Thursdays to entertain you, and Fridays to entertain you. There's so much fun, so much shit to watch, right? So, and I appreciate all those guys who support and share the channel, share even the LOL, Leading Out Loud channel. And Elisa, you are amazing. I appreciate you so much. And also Unite the Light. Check out the unitethelight.org or unitethelight.love for our May convention. And so I think there should be, it's pausing. Let's wait for the lag to finish. Just waiting for the lag to finish. We're just pausing here. Waiting for the lag. I just have to pause on the lag. Yeah, I don't have anything from Andrea, so I didn't get anything. So make sure it's the right PayPal. And we're waiting for the lag to end. I mean, it's a pause. I don't know what the lag is up with because my internet connection is solid. Just waiting for the lag to finish. Just let me know when the lag is done. Let me know it's done, guys, and I'll come back. Still lagging, guys, or is it done? Because I'm going to have to end it. Yes, you are allowed to rest and take care of yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I don't have anything PayPal. Can you hear me now? Are we back? Are we back? Oh my gosh, what's with this lag? All right, guys, I'm going to end it here because the lag is happening, so we don't know. I'm going to sit here and pause. I appreciate every one of you guys, and if you want to book a personal session with me, it's scottcruzpm.com is in the bio, in the link. You could book a personal session with me. I'll be here every Thursday, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. And yes, Andrea, I don't have anything for you in my PayPal, so yeah, I don't see anything here. It's not. I checked my other account, which I don't see. I'm looking back, and yeah, there's nothing here for anyone. So I don't know if the lag is still lagging. Or whatnot. Thanks, Christy. I appreciate you. Okay, so you see now you just sent it. You sent it a little late. I got it now, Andrew. I was a little. You sent it after I closed down the readings. So let me just kind of do this now. Are we lagging anymore? Nina, is it good? Same internet. Is it still lagging, Nina? It's good now. Jesus, I don't know what's going on. I have full bars and I still have good upload speeds. I don't know. Anyways, it's just a card. Let me do the card pull because Andrew's just came in now. The collected toward the end. It wasn't there before, so let me just read this real quick. Okay. I hate to have to pause like that. That was a long period of lag for some reason, and it killed my before I had like 100 people in the room. Then it lagged and it dropped to like 40. Like it's just really kind of been really strange. It's like can YouTube not handle me going above 100 people in the room? Because then it dropped immediately to 60. Then it lagged again, dropped to 20. Then it dropped up to 60. It's like it's been like all over the place, which I don't understand. But okay, so let me just do a card pull for Andrea because it came in last minute, and as a card pull, so I can't answer a question in a sense, but we'll see what comes up in the card pull because it's not a question; it's what the cards say in that sense. Oh, I see. Okay. No, we're here, Andrew. I have it. I'm doing it now. It came in late, is what I'm saying. So, really quickly, they're saying that you have to find a balance between relationship and career. You might be kind of, I think you might be trying to like play both sides in a sense. So you might want to make sure that you're kind of, if you can handle two at the same time, relationship and career, then make sure you understand how to do that, right? Learn about this. But if you're kind of saying to yourself, well, then, I'm focusing on career now, and so you're putting your emphasis there, and you're not able to accommodate your relationship, then you might find an imbalance there, right? So they're saying, Andrea, that you want to make sure you can balance both at the same time, because either you have both at the same time, or you're actually fighting between the two, because the Two of Wands is kind of like you're in between the two. The Two of Wands is saying that you kind of have to either find that balance or pick one and let the other go. So I would definitely recommend that you say to yourself, how can I fit in both at the same time? How can I have a relationship and my career thriving at the same time? It's possible. But I think you have to look at it that way. You have to look at it in a sense that says, I'm going to transform my idea of how I'm seeing relationship and career at the same time. Because somehow subconsciously, you're kind of putting one before the other. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that way, but somehow you're putting one before the other. And they're saying, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to look at it as a bigger picture in your life, in a sense. Because they're saying you're trying to accommodate too much at the same time, but it's just the idea of that's holding you back. But they're saying be open to understand that you can nurture your relationship and career at the same time. Because the Ten of Wands is saying you might be taking on too much intellectually. Taking too much on your shoulders. And it could be more emotionally that you're not able to, balance between work and career. So then one takes precedence over the other. And so that could be the imbalance that's causing this, because there may be other stuff that you're carrying, other stuff that you're holding on to. So I think if you think of it that way and saying, I can actually have the balance between relationship and career. Those are my two important aspects of my life. Let's not have anything else come and congest that right now. I want to learn how I can actually have both thriving at the same time. Then you'll realize that things are starting to move forward. Because I love how the Chariot card fell out with that too, because it's all about movement, moving forward, and you're able to do it with ease. Okay? You're able to do it with great ease. So yeah, it really is about your approach on how to balance relationship and career, not so much about like the specifics of doing that, which that would be more a question based. This is more of a random card pull in that sense. So whatever's coming out with relationship and career is saying that you need to understand how to balance the two so they both can thrive. So one's not taking precipice over the other, and then you'll be able to be more clear on each path moving forward with the relationship and career in that sense. And make sure your relationships aren't demanding too much time from you either, or you're not giving too much time. They're saying you might give too much time to your relationships to where you're feeding them too much, and therefore it's over encumbering you to where you can't put emotion, or focus into something else. Or you're doing the same thing with career. They're pulling so much of you, then you can't give enough. So make sure you find that balance, right? And so, and the relationships that pull from you too much, they're not the right relationships. Same thing with the job. If they're pulling too much, not the right job. Consider that. That will give you more understanding and clarity and peace in the relationship sector. Okay? Hope that makes sense. And now we're concluding. And so I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And we'll see you next Thursday. And hopefully see you on Monday for LOL. And so, Andrew, you'll find that balance, as we said. And when you think of it that way, everything else will make sense. And, of course, we couldn't go specific on that as far as, like, what to do career, because those are more question-based formats. But we want to at least guide you to understand how you can configure your thought process to make it easier for both. All right? Have a wonderful rest of your evening, guys. And as I always say, you're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love to you all. Good night.
Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.